Hi,
How you doing, Ramon?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you, Taylor?
I'm great. Still kind of riding that high from our AGM last week, and it's just been
Sorry, for folks that are tuning in, what's an AGM?
good call. It's the I want to say it's the annual general meeting. Yeah, annual general meeting. It's kind of the once a year big board meeting where we elect officers and go through our yearly stats and stuff like that. So yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I have a job for the next year.
Wonderful.
um,
Always a good sign.
yeah, yeah. No,
Just
it's
sent out
just
a
been
tweet that
incredible
we're
to kind of.
live. Sorry,
Yep. No, all good. I should do that. Should do the same. Let
did
me
that
uh,
put
let me
us
retweet
on?
you.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, okay, great. Here we go. So we're live. Why don't you, if you don't mind, Taylor, giving us a bit of an update at what's going on at Distribute Aid, and we'll plug some contribution possibilities.
Totally. So, what's going on? We just had 3 containers worth of water arrive in the Netherlands, and kind of concludes our involvement there. Our partners will then take it to the front lines as part of our combined kind of Ukraine response. So that was super cool to see. We also had a container arrive in Lebanon. I believe
No,
last
gonna do.
Friday. So groups are picking stuff up there.
So sorry, Taylor. I just had the idea. You know what? I'm gonna start like showing tweets of this stuff as we go, just so it's.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. I got
You know
some
what I
images
mean?
and stuff. Yeah, you can just
Yeah.
scroll down the DA page, and I think we have a few of those recent highlight tweets.
Let me
That's a
share my
great
screen real
call.
quick. So sorry to interrupt you, Taylor.
No, please. I mean, that's the fun stuff, right? I talk about this stuff all day, but being able to see that sort of impact there. Um,
Yeah. So
yeah.
let's see. I think y'all should see my screen now. So I'm just gonna scroll down here and just have a look at some tweets that y'all are up to. Let's have a look.
Yeah,
So that's
there we
the
go.
water there.
Yeah, that's one of 3 shipping containers chock full of water. There's an in-kind donation from Dr. Priestley's, and it was something that it didn't work out commercially for them, but we were able to get the shipping funded and find where it was needed and get it over to Ukraine. We also sent a truck of that water down to Atlanta in Florida in the U.S. And so it's really exciting, not just from like the helping people perspective, but also preventing waste and getting the value out of that product, kind of the environmentalism concerns around it too. I think if we scroll
This
down
is
a little bit
awesome.
more, there might be one more photo.
Oh
There we
my
go.
goodness!
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's not
And that's
even 1 container's worth of water in the photo. So imagine that times like 3 or 4.
wow. Wow. This is amazing.
Yep. What else? Oh, maybe I can share my WhatsApp. We have actually
Oh, go for it.
yeah, because we have a shipment photos. I should just add you to that. So let me add
Noel,
you to that.
sure. Noel with 1L says that's awesome. Hey, Noel, good with 1L. Good to see you. By the way, Noel with 1L, like, if you ever, want to contribute or come live with us and on stream, like, you're more than welcome to. Our Twitter handles are here below me and below Taylor. So absolutely feel free to join in. No pressure, of course. That's an open invitation to all of our viewers and chatters.
Absolutely. Here, I'm gonna share my screen right now because I don't think we've posted about the Lebanon shipment just yet, but
Mm-hmm.
it's really cool. So this is a first look here, y'all.
I see you shared your screen. Can I go ahead and put that up?
Yeah, yeah, should be fine.
Awesome. Here we go.
Cool. So this was a container we sent from the UK, from the Highland Supports Refugees to Lebanon. That's the container with all the boxes stacked in there. and then we unloaded it at the Fabricade warehouse. So this is what it looks like. This is how much stuff fits into one of these containers. Like the whole line of boxes going out the door. Got some great, kind of volunteers that are sorting it out and checking through it.
Wow.
Yeah, and this was really cool. So about half of it is going to Fabricade, and then today we had the Hope team and the Free Shop and some of our other aid partners, pick this stuff up. I mean, just look at how happy these folks are, right? Getting a whole bunch of international support in a country
Wow.
that's facing an economic crisis and a country that hosts the most refugees per capita in the world, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And so here's the Hope team loading up their portion of the aid onto their truck, and taking it off. Where are they taking it to? To Arsal in Lebanon. Yeah, cool.
Well, with one else says that I appreciate the invite. I'll be sure to reach out if I see something I can contribute on. Such amazing work. How exciting. Do you know, we're actually going to be doing some styling stuff, like some tailwind stuff today. Just, if it's definitely learning in public stuff here too. So like, again,
Yep.
no pressure, but you are more than welcome.
Yeah, and I
That's
definitely
really
say,
cool.
folks, like y'all don't have to be an expert. Like Ramon and I learn about React, we learn about JavaScript, we learn about Tailwind all the time. It's really nice to solidarity mindset. Like we're in this together. We can build a better world together. So just hit us up on Twitter if you want to hang out and like pair up on something. We can drive, you can drive, you can show us some cool
Yep.
stuff. We can show you how our tech stack works, which is fun. It's fun to like connect with people through code in a way that I think most of us can't necessarily, in our kind of day-to-day jobs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
This is some of my favorite ways of doing open source, just like on stream chilling with Taylor and just like asking. And let me tell y'all, like before working with you and Distributate, like I think I'd done Gatsby once,
yeah,
and you know we had that ensemble programming hackathon last year where
yeah.
that was one of my favorite experiences because people were just coming in and we made contributions. They were writing. These were like people who did Java for a living, and they're like, I've never touched TypeScript before, and we're just
Hmm.
like in there, just like writing code together. It was really cool. Anyway, that's my ramble. Let's. Actually, so you've seen all the stuff that we're doing. Always really appreciate any contribution that folks can give. I will plug our the open collective for Distributate.
Yep. Yeah, and we have a new ratio for y'all coming out of that annual general meeting last week. Over the past
Yeah.
year, every dollar we've spent on both admin, like the volunteer apartment, kind of cost of living stipends, tech tools, things like that, and our operations, our shipping, our warehousing, stuff like that. Every dollar we spent gets $87 delivered to the field, right? That's like you walking into Walmart or walking into what's a Vienna brand, Ron?
Billa?
Billa. You spend $1, you spend €1, and you walk out with $87 worth of stuff, right? It's
Yeah,
it's mind blowing.
it's amazing.
So
Jen Janod says, hi, excited to see this. And Banana
what
says,
up?
awesome.
Welcome.
Jen Janod is, I wanna take a second to plug her if I may. She's doing some amazing streaming stuff as well. Learning to
Yeah.
code, getting into DevRel stuff. Jen Janod, this is also an invitation for you. If you ever, we're doing like Gatsby and other kind of tech stack stuff
Yeah.
here. Some
GraphQL, Tailwind. Yeah.
headless CMS. If you ever want to join us here on stream, this is an open invitation. Noel with one L is a
Well,
fan of Jen Janod. I mean, how can you not be, really?
I love
Um,
it. This is what it's all about, right, Ramon? Like bringing the community
Totally,
together. Like,
absolutely.
yeah,
This is what
yeah.
makes it all worth it. So, um, yeah, what are we doing today? Let's what are we talking about today, Taylor?
Totally. So, Code C, shout out to Code C, sponsoring the stream, making all this possible. They released this really cool new kind of code automation stuff, and I don't know what it is. So, it's going to be a little bit of like
Yeah,
an unboxing video type of thing. We're going to take a look at this new feature, see if we can't apply that to some of our distribute aid projects, learn a bit more how it works. And then I think after that, go back and take a look at the region pages, right? We had set up kind of the whole, coming out of our needs assessments, we have all this great information about regions. We modeled them in forestry CMS, that headless CMS Ramon was mentioning. Got that pulled through to Gatsby, got the index page and the region page and the sub-region pages set up. They just need a little bit of polish, a little bit of styling, and then I think we can push them live. So I want to take
that's
a second
awesome.
look at those. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Should we explore Code C's Code C Automate together right now? Take a look at what that looks like.
Let's do it. So I am logged in. Ah, do you know what? I'm logged in on my wrong account. I should be logged in with my distributed account. Give me 1 second, folks. I just need to log in the correct. I need to be in the right. Too many windows. I need to.
It's a perk of volunteering with Distribute Aid. You make some code contributions, reach out. Maybe we hook you up with one of those exclusive at distributeaid.org email addresses. You can get your first name, probably, unless your first name is Ramon or Taylor.
Unless you don't have a terribly common name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me see. I'm very sorry, folks. Just need to find my distribute aid.
It's okay. Hey, should I share my screen real quick, Ramon? Because I'm logged in, good to go.
Oh, if you don't mind, that'd be amazing.
Done and done.
So Jen Janot says, I wanna learn how to contribute to open source more. You are in the right place, Jen Janot. Like this is
this is what it's all about.
Yeah. So for context, Code C is kindly sponsoring our show and sponsoring, well, not just our show, sponsoring all of the work of Distribute Aid, along with providing us with their code understanding tools.
Yep. So we heavily use Code C maps. Love those review maps. And for documentation stuff, we also do code recordings, kind of see how data flows through our code base. This is my favorite type of sponsor, right? Because we're like actively using their tools and getting value out of it, and they love what we do as well, right? But Jen, please reach out, hit up Ramon or me on Twitter, shoot us an email, hello@distributeaid.org. But if you want to get into open source, I'd love to sit down with you and we can pair up, hang out, and help you get started contributing to Distribute Aid. Super easy.
We also chill here every Thursday at this time, so if you want to just if you want to chill on stream, totally open as well. So yeah, what have we got here, Taylor? So this is automation now.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. That's the exciting part. We don't have any triggers yet. It's right there. And
full disclosure as well. Up until February, I used to work at Code C as well. So this is after my time, and I have no idea what's up. This is cool. This is exciting.
Yep. So it looks like we can do a couple of different types here. So there's checklists, automatically generate a checklist based on which files were edited. So maybe that's like a review checklist or something. If you touch certain files, we want to make sure that the review happens. Maybe assign reviewers. We were talking about this a lot, Ramon, because different people kind of are more active in different parts of our code bases, right? So like back end versus front end, if someone's editing, front end feature, we might want to assign a certain reviewer to that PR, right? And then compliance, where the big scary word there, keep the product compliant. But that actually might be a really handy thing for us, right? Because when we have new contributors to Distribute Aid, we want them to jot down their name in our contributors.md file, right?
Yeah.
So that might be a good way. Hey, if you haven't contributed before, can we get that going in the review? Make sure that happens. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. Shall we press the button?
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1, boom. Okay, so first up, distributeaid.org. And I don't know what to name it yet because I'm not really sure what we're doing. So when a change in a pull request is a match for these conditions. So we got file added to folders, file name, file path.
Oh.
So let me.
Right. So this is kind of setting up like magic callbacks in a way.
Yeah, something like that. And then we have different actions. So you can add an assignee, a reviewer, a checklist, or a comment. So I just want to show folks CodeC maps, right? So we have CodeC review maps. Oh, well, we've caught up on all our reviews. Let me open up GitHub here real quick because I think this will help us understand how this automation works. You go to one of our recent PRs.
PRs in this case being pull requests.
Pull requests, yes. We have a lot of automated ones. Thank
Sorry,
you,
Taylor. Do
Renovate.
you mind making it just a touch bigger?
Oh, totally.
And folks in
Here,
the
how's
chat,
that?
as always, if it's too like for me it's great, but some folks might be watching on mobile. Like if it's too small for you, please give us a shout.
Yep, not a problem at all.
So these are our old pull requests.
Yeah, these are all the Renovate pull requests. So we did merge in that one recently, right? The Viz one.
Noel with 1L says PR is not public relations in this context, as I've learned. I'm gonna be cheeky and say, like, depending on how you look at it,
Yeah.
you know, the way you conduct yourself when reviewing a pull request is probably kind of PR.
Okay, let's see. June 29th.
Jen Junot says, "Sound looks great. Thank you, Taylor. When we sync, please teach me the GitHub ways too."
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Jen Junot says, "I created my first repo today. Yay! Congratulations. That's super
Nice.
exciting."
That's super exciting. Oh, man. I remember creating my first repo back in the day. It's such like a fun and liberating feeling to be like, here's the thing. I made it. I pushed code to it. Everyone can look at it, right?
I found that somebody found one of these websites that generates a little image for you. It was like my first ever pull request, which was in 2014. Mine, to the code base for an Atom plugin. Atom being the GitHub's old code editor.
That was your first pull request, and you're already contributing to like major
No.
open source project
to a plugin for Atom.
Okay. What the plugin do?
It automatically ran your Ruby on Rails tests.
Nice.
Guess what programming language it was written in?
Oh boy, 2014.
2014.
And it was for Ruby on Rails.
Yeah, and it's of course, you know, Atom is one of the first Electron apps.
JavaScript, like plain JS.
Close. Think Ruby on Rails in 2014.
Oh, I did not do a lot of Rails stuff. I was a Python fanboy back in the
day. Fair. It was CoffeeScript, if that rings a bell.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Close to Python, like, you know, with the indentation stuff. For context, CoffeeScript was like the way to write front end back in the day, at least in the Ruby on Rails world. It is not fondly remembered. I appreciated it. This was before we had stuff like arrow functions in JavaScript.
Yeah, yeah, JavaScript was really messy back in the day. Well, I'm not finding our PR here. Sorry for everyone
Oh,
on
one
stream
of
just watching me scroll.
oh, here we go.
So this is Marcus fixing us because we broke the build last stream. Um,
Oh, whoops.
yeah, yeah. So it's okay. So he figured out
Thank you, Marcus.
uh, yeah. Shout out to Marcus. And this is really what I wanted to show folks was the CodeC review maps, right? And so this is kind of a
Right.
good example of CodeC maps. You can see what files have changed. You can see, hey, like this, page used to link there, and now it doesn't
Not anymore.
anymore. It looks like there's a link that was added. Things like that, right? And so I think that kind of informs our understanding of logic triggers, right? So code so you can say, hey, what's going on with this map? And when there's a file path, like when a change in a pull request matches all of these conditions. So like there's a change that matches this specific file or a file in this folder or something like that, right? Or files added to this folder, then do one of these actions, like add a comment, assign a reviewer, stuff like that, right?
Got it.
Yeah. So I think that this is super useful. The question is, Ramon, is this useful for us? Like, what do we want to do with this?
Yeah. If we have stuff like say automatic. I liked the automatic assigning. That was cool. Like what that got me thinking about is, for example, just throwing it out there, because my GraphQL is, if somebody makes a change to one of the GraphQL, what is it, that the Gatsby node stuff,
Yep.
that could, for
That makes
example,
a lot of
assign it
sense.
to you.
Yeah, I like that. Okay,
If
so
it's like
file
more
path.
component stuff, yeah, it could assign it
Let's
to
try that
me.
out. I think that's great. Yeah.
Awesome.
So file path matches glob, and then let's go take a look at our actual code, find some of those. So we're saying
What's a glob, Taylor?
a glob, I think that's the kind of file path syntax of like, I don't know, maybe source slash component slash star slash special file name dot tsx, right? And so what that would do is it's this kind of file syntax which says, hey, anything in the source component folder and then any subfolder of that, right, that then matches this file name, right? That is kind of this file name matching syntax.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. I think in this case, we want a match for all of these conditions. So if it matches Gatsby node, right? That's where there's some GraphQL transformations going on. And let's go ahead and apply it to drafts. Then we want to add a reviewer, right? So we'll add me. And a little reminder, review GraphQL changes. So
we got a question from Jen Janad. Is Gatsby what's used to build the backend of WordPress? And I can take this one. I believe not. So WordPress is built by something called PHP, which is a programming language and runtime that automatically generates website. Sorry, not automatically, dynamically builds websites. Which I don't remember the statistic, but the statistic I used to hear like 5 years ago is like powers 60% of the internet or 80%. I forget the exact figure, but it's a lot. So no, Gatsby is a static site generator that lives on, that is sort of, I'm about to get this super wrong. is built on top, which runs on or is built on top of React, and lets you do fancy GraphQL things.
Yeah. Yeah. It basically, so there is a server, but we generate a static site. So we just generate this HTML and CSS bundle, right? With a bit of JavaScript sprinkled in there, because we're not necessarily pulling data from a database, right? It's all available, when we're ready to deploy the next version. So the way to think about Gatsby is it's a really great system for pulling in data from a bunch of different sources, like the file system or an external server or an image directory or something like that, right? And then it exposes that data through a GraphQL interface to the React side of things. React is this kind of functional framework in JavaScript, and so it's able to access that data and then basically produce like which components show up, how they look, things like that. And in the end, so you get like a nice quick loading bundle. It's perfect for landing sites, personal blogs, things like that. What I like about Gatsby is that it gives you a lot of control. So you're not necessarily tied in like to the WordPress style, right? Where there's like a specific way of doing things. It's fairly flexible. It's just helping you marshal that data together, and then you can use React and really customize how your site looks, feels, and works.
Got it. Thank you for clarifying. Could listen to you explain stuff all day. Oh, Ginginot says, I'm thinking of Gutenberg. Gutenberg, I guess, is something that powers WordPress.
Oh, I just know Gutenberg as the printing press, right? The Gutenberg Bible back in the day, but I do not know it in a tech context. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I think I've added, this second one here. So now we have two code triggers, which basically put me as the reviewer for GraphQL changes for these kind of core Gatsby files. Where do you want to be the reviewer, Ramon? For everything else, maybe?
Sure. Put me down.
Okay. Let's see. So say it's because you have so much free time. And
and Ginginot shares a link for what Gutenberg is.
Nice.
Thank you.
Okay. Great. So I've now added a code trigger, which should just make you the reviewer for everything because you have so much free time. Should we open a PR, make some changes, see what happens, see if we can get these to work?
Let's do it.
Oh, I just realized they had examples, which might have been helpful to look at first. Cool. Oh, do you have the code
the Git
editor
pod.
we use? Git pod up. Yeah. So I'm gonna
let's fire that up. Sweet. Cool. So I gotta make the font size bigger. Again, folks, if it's too small, just give me a shout, please. So we're gonna make a small, not very let's say extensive. Actually, what's stopping us from getting on doing some of our open source work now? Some of our region page work. Yeah.
Yeah, that could definitely work. Yeah. Do we want to make a new branch? I linked to some issues. We have some style issues linked to in our tweets. I think it's
some style issues there. You say?
Yeah, there we go. It's like the subregion and region pages. Yeah.
So let's see. Add styling for region page. Let's see what tags we've got here. Enhancement. Good first issue. Help wanted. Wink, wink. If you're watching and you want to contribute. Live also. In fact, let me put up my very subtle banner, if I may. There we go. um, okay, so what do you think? Region page or sub-region page? Shall we start with region page?
Let's start with the region page.
Let's do it. So let's see.
I love
Right
it when we
now,
set up proper issues to remind ourselves where we left things off. Do you want to
yeah,
walk through this for a minute here? I'm just going to go
sure.
grab a quick glass of water. Be right back.
Go for it. Noel with 1L says, I think Ramon is trying to tell us something. I mean, I don't want to be too subtle, Noel. I'm trying to be very, very clear. You're like in contributions highly welcome. I really like working with Distributed because I feel like it's a great onboarding experience for open source contributions. So what do we got here? Right now, our individual region page is largely unstyled. Let's have a look. So yeah, this is one of the regions where Distribute does its work, and as you can see, it's largely unstyled. This is the live version on the live website. So, like some of the things you probably notice is that, for example, there's little to no padding around here. That kind of everything is kind of left aligned. There are some news updates with it looks like a list with some unformatted dates. So there's a lot um, there's a lot to do here. So what can we do? So that's and for context, this is what our if you're watching for the first time, this is what our website looks like. You can see this was what we spent last time doing, integrating our. Gosh, this looks cool. I can never get enough of the Earth graphic. But yeah, so this is kind of the style that Distribute has right now. So we can sort of have a look at this and let it inform us of what this is. And we're not going to nail it on the first try, and that's totally fine. It's sort of to start kicking off that sort of conversation
Speak
around.
for yourself, Ramon. I do everything perfectly all the time. Okay.
My apologies. I do.
Just funny because last week I broke the build, so.
Fair. It's a learning process. So here's our routes, for example, like just to give you an idea of what the website looks like, right?
Yeah.
So that's what our region page looks like. Well, let me go back. So yeah, that's what it looks like right now. And so the idea is to style using Tailwind CSS, and we've left ourselves a little codesy map here to sort of inform how this could look. This is a
Yeah,
page.
kind of which parts of the code base we're going to be changing up here.
Which, yeah, we can see here, for example, in the source folder and templates, there's our region page. There's our
Ooh, we
sub-region
left ourselves
page.
a little tour as well,
Yes, we
right?
did. Oh, that's some
Yeah.
feedback for Codesy. We need some markdown here. Um, how do I zoom? It's a bit would like to be able. There we go. So the region template needs some basic layout styling. Nothing fancy for this iteration. Just need to get the content laid out neatly so it's understandable. Content elements include region title and map, subregion links, overview, government response, markdown. The news updates and stay informed links are styled in separate issues. Continue the tour to learn more about these sections. Noel with 1L says bangers only from Taylor.
We have fun. We have fun.
Yeah. Style the news updates section of the region page template. Ideally, the styles will work for all similar uses of the component, which is a list of markdown entries. So that's our update list. Style the stay informed links list from the region page template. Ideally, the styles for this component will be relevant to other uses as well. Links list is a list of links. Links list is a list of links with an optional title and description. I'm
Naming
not.
is hard.
Naming is hard. And finally, subregions reuse region components such as the update list and the link list. So those are kind of the 4 files that we primarily focusing on. So we've looked at the issue, we've looked at the map. I think for now, we can, for the sake of completeness, let's go ahead and assign myself and Taylor. Can you assign 2 people? Yes, you can. So I'll just write here. Happy to tackle this live on stream with Taylor.
Yeah.
Comment that. But folks, just because I'm claiming this now, doesn't mean it's like if we don't finish today that nobody else can hop in. But yeah, so let's start having a look at that. Just gonna open this map on a separate page just in case we need it later. So from here on out, Taylor, if it sounds good, we'll do some pair programming. I'll do the driving, that is, I'll do the coding, and Taylor will be navigating, by which I mean he will be sort of directing, coming up with ideas. And this isn't just pair programming, this is ensemble programming. So everybody in the chat, you're involved as well. You're the
Yes.
ensemble part. Give us
I can tell
ideas,
you
look up
right
stuff.
now, we will need to look up Tailwind styles. So if anyone wants to pull up, the kind of Tailwind documentation right now, might save us some time later on. But really, we do welcome audience participation of all forms. Ramon and I know what we are doing about half the time, and we've certainly learned a lot from everyone who contributes to the stream.
And that's balanced out by Taylor having 75% knowing what he's doing and me having 25, which adds up to 50-50. Anyway,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, like I dropped the link to the Tailwind documentation is probably what we're going to be primarily focusing on. But yeah, so where shall we start, Taylor?
Right. So I think the first thing is let's go ahead and open up that region page. That's going to be in, what is it? Probably in templates, right?
Oh,
Oh yeah,
sorry,
we
yeah.
can open it up on the site too.
So
I
this
think
is the
it's
one
just
running. Oh yeah. Slash.
slash
Sorry.
regions there. No, all good.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Perfect. Yep. So this is kind of our index page. It's slightly styled. It could use some work. Wink, wink. And let's go ahead and maybe choose Greece as our reason page to kind of test our styling on here. I'll just
Cool.
click that view region. Cool. So we have this map. We have links to our subregions. There's the overview, the government response, some news updates and things. Yeah. What do we need to do here? I think the first thing we could do is we have these big chunks of markdown for like the overview. There's like that title. There's big chunks of markdown. Should we maybe try some sort of like side by side layout, right? Give that overview and that government response section titles, a bit of a heading there. Then kind of say, here's what's going on in the region, and here's what the government is or is not doing about it.
That sounds great. Let's do that.
Cool.
So hop back on the code.
Awesome. So we're going to be looking at the source folder right there. And I think we want to take a look at templates because these are generated pages. There's our region page right there. Let's open that up. And before we get too far in, Ramon, do we need to create a new branch off of Saga here? For our viewers, Saga is the name of our main branch in these repos, inspired by Marcus. We're kind of telling a story through our code is the idea.
I like that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like the old Viking sagas and stuff like that.
That's really cool. So git checkout, and this is going to be a feature. So we're going to give our branch name a feature, and then we'll put in the issue number, which is, we'll just get the issue number here, 351.
351.
Do I want to allow pasting? Yes, I do. 351 region page styling. Does that sound okay?
Sounds great.
I forgot the -b. -b requires a value, of course. My bad. my friend Taryn taught me a trick. You know how in the terminal you always have to be like pressing this left and right. You can't just click on somewhere to move the cursor.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently on macOS, if you hold down Option or Alt and then click, yes, you can move it.
Wow.
Did you know about this?
I'm a Linux user, so Ramon is just flexing on me right now.
I mean, this might work on Linux as well. Just saying.
Okay, I'll try it out. So what it's option
Uh,
click.
alt.
Alt click. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I learned this. Oh wait, I'm sorry, folks. You can't see it because I'm blocking with the banner. But do look at that banner. Now let's go back. Sorry. Yeah. So we're git checkout -b and then the name of the branch.
Hmm.
Hit enter. So now we're on a new branch, feature 351, which is good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sweet. So let's just kind of get a sense of what's running in this region page template. We have our imports, we got our properties for TypeScript, kind of what's loading on this page. Do you want to scroll down a little bit and see the HTML kind of bit here? Cool. So, right. Okay. So that's the region page map, right? The Gatsby image bit, and then we have the list of subregions. There's our overview and our government response. So I feel like the first thing we need to do is we probably want to use Flexbox to get these lined up side by side, right? Wrap them in a div, and then I'm sure there's some magical Tailwind styles for Flexbox. The race is on for all you folks in the audience. I'm now Googling Tailwind Flexbox. But if you can come up with the right class name before I can, you win a prize, which is that I will pair up with you to contribute to DA.
Awesome. In the meantime, I'm going to very slowly So in order to, the way I look stuff up for the Tailwind documentation is I'll go to the Tailwind website. If you're not familiar with Tailwind, it is a CSS framework that lets you write CSS classes into your HTML elements that come pre-styled. So instead of writing CSS, if you write CSS instead of writing CSS as you would in a CSS file, you're sort of embedding it into your HTML. Jen Junot says, I have other questions that didn't get to it. You've got this, Noel.
Feel free to ask your questions, Jen, by the way.
I was
We're always happy to interrupt ourselves and talk about what y'all are interested in.
Indeed. So this would be, so I just, quick search, type in Flexbox or Flex. I see there Flex. Let's open that up. Nice. So let me make this a little larger because I realize it's quite small. Oh, we do have questions. Jen Junot asks, random question. Is OSS the same as these phrases? Open source, open code, open API. I can take this one if you're cool, Taylor. So OSS is short for open source software. It's funny because most of the time if you say it out, it's just open source. But if you abbreviate it, it's always open source software. But yeah, that's where it comes from.
Yeah, so I'd say it's the same as open source, open code, and open APIs. They seem to be kind of under the umbrella of open source software in general, right?
Mm-hmm. No. Noel with 1L is asking, would the place content center class be good for this? I don't know what that is.
I love it, but let's look that up. That looks really cool.
The place content? Utilities for controlling how content is justified and aligned at the same time. Aha, this is for the I think this is for grids.
For grid.
Oh no, it's Flexbox and grid. It's Flexbox and grid.
Okay.
This is really, really good. We'll still need to declare a Flexbox first.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it's as easy as if you scroll down that div class equals flex. We just have to specify that we're using Flexbox in that wrapper div that you made.
Exactly. So if we specify flex, then what we'll see, and we can test it out right away. If we do a refresh here.
Okay.
Yeah. So now these are all Noel with 1L says, I also don't know what this is. I'm trusting the docs here.
I think we're on the same page.
This is great. Jen says, thank you for the OSS answer. And Noel, you're dope. It's true. Noel is dope. I try to stay dope and fresh. Thank you. With a PH. Love it. I love the vibe. This is great. This is what I live for. So this is what we've got here, right? We've got an overview and 2 paragraphs by the look of it, government response,
Yep.
and 2 more paragraphs, which is good. But what we were hoping for was to have the overview and the government response be 2 distinct and separate
hmm
sections.
So it looks like we need to add some more wrappers there, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
trying to do Flexbox for all of the content, right? Which right now it's 6 different sections, a header, 2 paragraphs, a header, 2 paragraphs. I think we need to
Yeah.
add some wrappers around the header and the markdown content for each half, right?
Yeah. So let's do that. So that would be here. Just a div, right? No,
Nothing fancy.
nothing. No classes for it.
Yep.
That's another div. And there we go. Just gonna formatting. So if we go back now, that's already
There we
looking
go.
better.
Love it. Love it. Okay.
Let's try.
Um,
Shall we try Noel's suggestion as well with place content center?
yeah, definitely. What I'm thinking there is like, can we, do some styling and kind of like do that style where it's not going all the way to the margins, but it's kind of like inset a little bit and then center that stuff. I'm not sure. Or like center, for example, the title, right? Could we center the title over each column or something like that? I'm really curious to see how this will pan out.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good. So you're saying we should center the H2s, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
And like before, it's as simple as going to the Tailwind um, Tailwind
So that can be like a
docs.
text center there or something.
Yeah. Container typography text dash center. That's what we want. What I'm trying to do here is
Perfect.
like also like folks, if you want to shout out class names that you think will help, that's what we're here
Yeah.
for.
Ramon and I
Text
love to
center.
be shouted at.
It's true. So, class name equals. Whoa. Some bad stuff is happening here. Text center. It's always a little bit scary when you type in a little bit and TypeScript starts your editor starts going all red at you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's refresh that. And there we go.
Nice. Okay. Now we need to make those probably a bit bigger and maybe underline them, right? So, like, how do we make those look
Yeah.
like titles? And I'm going to throw this one out to the audience. Like, I don't know or care what a title looks like. So, like, what makes a title to you? How does that
Love
visually
it.
stand out on the page? Yeah. I also think we need some spacing, Ramon, right? So, like, the paragraphs by default don't have spacing. It looks like one large blob of text, right?
Do
It'd
you
be nice to
mean,
have.
sorry, do you mean like from one paragraph to the next? Or
Yeah,
do you
wouldn't it
mean
be good
like
to have
between the 2 of them?
all of the above? All of the
Okay,
above.
got it.
Spacing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like here. I'm the big ideas guy. Okay, I'm just kind of.
Yeah,
I want to throw the
that's
word
what
spacing out, and then
this is what pairing is. So we will need markdown under markdown content. We will need to specify some paragraph line spacing or margins.
Yeah, something like that. But it's interesting because the markdown content kind of generates this markdown. Like we don't have the paragraphs to apply that spacing to necessarily. So I think this is starting to get a bit technical here on us.
Yeah. Yeah, and we also want like some space between these two because they're quite close together.
Mm-hmm.
And we can definitely do that with Flexbox, I
Mm-hmm.
believe, by
Yep.
having, what is it, Flexbox gutter? Is it gutter?
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
Grid to create a grid container, inline grid. We don't want a grid. We want flex.
Oh, maybe like space between.
Oh, yeah. Ah, Genjinod has the answer for us. A paragraph is a consecutive lines of text with one or more blank lines between them. For a line break, add either a backslash or two blank spaces at the end of a line. So that's for Markdown. Yeah, so our Markdown is generating those paragraph elements. What we're trying to do is style them, right?
Yeah,
To add
yeah. I think we have
more
the two
space between them.
paragraphs there. Yeah, and then we want like some padding or something at the bottom there, for sure.
Yeah. Here we go. Utilities for controlling the space between child elements. This is what you meant, right?
Sure. It says
For
space
the
in the word.
add horizontal space between children. Yeah, so at the top you can specify space x4, and that'll have 4 somethings between the children. Space x4. Let's give that a try. See what happens.
Fun.
Whoopsie. Not much, but I wonder if it has to do with that place content center. Let me try removing this for just a sec. No, it's not making much of a difference at all. Let's have a look. Oh, it's not saved. That's odd. I thought I'd saved it. So Control S. Then do a refresh here. There we go.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, so you can see we're already getting some space in between the paragraphs.
Yep. Love it. I wonder if we could do like a line between the two or something like that, right? To like kind of make those sections visually distinct, or maybe some background colors. Like we could do like a slightly light blue or something, and then a slightly lighter blue on the other side, just to make those two sections visually
Oh,
distinct.
I like that. Noella with 1L says, I like what Jen said. If we're thinking about what qualities separate a title from a paragraph, I say that the title is stylistically bigger and maybe used as an accent color or other font decorations. I like that.
There we go. Let's work on that right now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Noel, for the feedback. So I'm gonna go look up some. Yeah, Jen.
Yeah.
Let me go look up some hex codes for our colors for you, Ramon. But in the meantime, do you want to try bumping that font size up there to make it kind of more visually distinct?
Awesome. Also, I agree with Noel. You're killing it, Jen. So, text size. So I'm just gonna look up.
Put these two on here and call it a day.
Yeah, we it looks like we're set, Taylor. We can go chill. So utilities for controlling the font size of an element. So this is what we're gonna do, and here we can see we got different classes. So text XS, SM, base, LG. I'm gonna try LG first and see how it goes. So text LG, and I'll do the same for our other one. Text LG. So if I save that, give this a refresh because I don't trust. You can see it's already a little bit bigger, but it's not significantly so. So let's try XL instead. So instead of LG, we'll go with XL. L. And again, give that a refresh. Is that XL? Can't tell if it's bigger.
It definitely got a little bit bigger. Yeah.
It is bigger, but I don't know. Is it big enough? What do you all think? Let me try 2XL just for a laugh. Because there is such a thing as too big.
No. Oh gosh, now I want to make a Tailwind version which uses their class names for sizing, but based on like logistic sizes. So we could have like the box, or like text dash palette or text dash like FTL.
Love it.
I'm such a nerd. Such a nerd.
No, it's great. I love it. That's what it's all about. And Noel's like enhance. So I'm noticing that this is now about the same size as this, which isn't a bad thing.
Okay.
Let's take a look at this.
No, yeah, it's not at
2XL.
all.
No, I think this is a solid, good big size.
Mhm.
Did you say you've got colors for me, Taylor?
I do. I actually want to use this as a way to show off how we can customize Tailwind, right?
Yeah.
Because I remembered, like, I don't need a hex code. We've already specified that. So if we go to the Tailwind config there, we have those navy colors. We also have other colors that we use, right? So what I'm thinking here is we make, one title a strong color, like one of those 700 or 800 colors. Maybe navy, and then one of them rosemary or something, right? That'll provide, by using two different colors of the same weight, that'll provide visual distinction between the two different sections, which you could maybe pair with like background colors of the lighter versions of those colors.
I don't know how to. I don't remember how to use colors.
Oh, I got you here. So what you want to do is like text dash color name dash weight. So in this case, it would be like text dash navy dash 700. Um,
700. And those
yeah,
we
and if you go
define
back to
here
that tailwind config, exactly, right?
because
So,
Tailwind
so
comes
this
with. Sorry.
no, I was going to say, if you could just go back to that Tailwind config real quick. Tailwind has all these built-in colors, which you can use for backgrounds or borders or text color, all the things, right? So when you extend it, you don't need to specify all these additional styles. You just have to say, here's an extension to your color palette. I want something called navy or rosemary or whatever. And at these weights, it maps to these hex codes. And then it kind of hooks that up to all of the different types of color styling that you can do in CSS.
Yeah. Awesome. So we got text navy 700, and the other one was text rosemary. Which
Let's
color
do
weight did you want?
700. Let's keep them the same weight, so they're both dark and visible there.
Hey. So
There we
that's navy
go.
700. This is rosemary
Yeah.
700 as well.
I think the rosemary might be a little bit too light, and the navy we use in a lot of other places. Can we just go see what other colors are available to us in the config there?
So we got navy, purple. I'm a fan of purple. Turquoise,
Mm.
beige, and that's it.
Turquoise is very big. Why don't we just stick with rosemary? But let's, instead of navy, let's use purple. Purple there. I think those two colors will contrast nicely. And then we have
I will never say
200.
no to purple.
There we
Sorry.
go. So maybe we can make the backgrounds for the wrapper div. We could do like, is it background or BG? Let me look that
Let's
up.
find out. Background. Color. Oh, it is BG dash color.
Great. So like same thing, BG dash purple or rosemary dash 200. See how that checks out.
I'm only the color contrast advocate in me is only slightly concerned, but maybe I'm wrong. Let's have a look.
We'll find out.
Rosemary. Yeah. All about that experiment. Yeah,
Not quite there, huh? Yeah.
what if we switch them around? What if we put navy on rosemary and rosemary on navy?
Let's try it out.
Not navy, sorry, purple. So rosemary and purple. Just trying stuff out. Something's not right. Something's not working. Maybe it needs to be 100 as opposed to 200.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we have that specified. What about our beige style though? Right. So we could do
Oh yeah, you're right.
the
Beige, yeah.
yeah, something like that. Yeah. Oh, we got beige 50. That's real light right there.
Beige 50. Beige. So two beiges, yeah?
Yeah, well, let's just see how that looks for that contrast and accessibility purposes.
Folks in the chat, you are here to also give out your opinions. It's not just us deciding what the colors are. I'm gonna try a 100 if I may.
Yep.
I found the 50 a little bit hard to see. What do you think?
I can't see. Oh yeah, okay. I barely see the
It's
beige
very
there.
subtle.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
bump it up to 300. Just trying stuff out. Now we're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, what if, what's the color here? Sorry, this color
That's
here.
navy. Yeah, so that might
Is
be the
this
right
navy?
call is to do our titles in navy. I think that's Navy 700 or something like that.
And the background is navy as well. Yeah, maybe we can stick to this
Yeah.
style.
Yep, let's do that.
I'm for Jen Janot says purple and green all day. After my own heart. Those are the two best colors. Okay. So that's navy. I didn't catch the color. Navy 50, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And navy 50 against navy 700. Let's try that out.
Yeah, let's try that out.
Even though we're sacrificing some of that whimsy, I like the Noel with 1L agrees with me. I like the idea of making it navy as well. Such a good neutral color that can accentuate a title. Yeah, and
There we go.
I'm
No.
I'm a big advocate for consistency as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's fun to play around with it and kind of see, what sort of like how the Tailwind style like color system worked. But I agree. Like keep it simple, keep it consistent. Once we get this launched, we can always go back and play around with it, right? That's the time to call your designer friends and come up with the perfect layout and everything like that. But let's get it out the door first, for sure.
So another thing we want to do, Taylor. Sorry, I know
Mhm.
I don't want to navigate too much, but it occurs to me that we've specified this flex box, which means it's going to flex in mobile as well.
Ooh, good point. We want it to stack, so we want some sort of yeah.
In case you're curious about what I'm doing, folks, what I'm doing is using my dev tools in my browser to simulate what it would look like on a mobile screen. And in fact, you can even pick here like different devices. So if you want to be like, oh, I wonder what this looks like on an iPad
Mhm.
mini, it'll look like this.
Yeah.
I wonder what this looks like on, where's the iPhones? Here we go, an iPhone 12 Pro. So you see, we've got this problem that it's side by side, so it doesn't really look
Mhm.
ideal.
So how do we do that? There's definitely some good responsive styling options in Tailwind.
Responsive design. So every utility class in Tailwind can be applied conditionally at different breakpoints, which makes it a piece of cake to build complex responsive surfaces without ever leaving your HTML. This means that CSS will automatically detect how big your screen is. And depending on that
Mhm.
breaking point, that's saying, for example, if you can see there like minimum width 640 pixels. So if it's at least 650 pixels, then you can apply this style, which
Mhm.
means going back here, if let's say, what do you think? What size would be good here, Taylor?
Probably LG, right? Like basically, if you're on a tablet or a desktop or something like that, we want it
Yeah,
side by side. If you're on a tablet in vertical mode or a phone, then you should stack it.
yeah. So we can say here, like, okay, in a large screen, use the Flexbox,
Mhm.
and we can test that here. So if we refresh now, we've got our Flexbox, which is cool. And I'm just gonna grab my window. I hope y'all can see it as well. So just did you see?
Yep, there we
So
go.
once it got here,
Um,
yeah,
Love it. Now I'm going to make a slight suggestion here, Ramon. I think that Flexbox is good at stacking things side by side or up and down, right? So do we want to say we're only applying Flexbox to larger screens, or do we want to say we're applying Flexbox both ways, but we want to change the flex direction or something like that, right? Do we want to let
Ooh.
the Flexbox kind of handle the layout side of this, whether it's going, whichever way?
Yeah. Yeah, because of course by default Flexboxes comes in rows,
Mm-hmm.
but it can also be it could be reversed. It can be a column. This is what you mean, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So at some point we want it, maybe by default it's a column, and then once we hit that, LG size, then it becomes a row.
The flex column.
Hmm.
When it's a large screen, we use flex row, and that also means, Taylor, that we can add vertical spacing as well.
Yep. Yep.
There we go. So let's give that a try and see how it looks. So in theory, oh, hold on, what's going on here? Aha! Yeah, see, it's that vertical spacing is there as well.
Right. So we're going to need to apply the vertical spacing only in, yeah.
Large screen. Did I do it bad?
Probably the other way around, right? We want to apply the vertical spacing by default and then apply the horizontal spacing for large.
Yes, and can you do a 0? So like in large screens, space Y is 0? Find out. So that looks solid.
That looks good.
Make it smaller. There it is. There's our...
Yep, and we got some Y spacing there.
That's perfect. This looks much better.
I love it. I feel like we should add some padding, right? So we have spacing between the two divs we set up, but to give the content a little bit of padding there. So it's not going right up to the edge of those divs, could be quite good.
Do we want overall padding? Do we want different padding?
I think overall.
Yeah.
Let's start off with overall, and if we want to tweak it for width and height and stuff, we can.
Good call. So this would be P and then a value. Shall we say 4 for consistency's sake?
Let's try 4. Yeah.
And when we refresh, y'all will see we have padding.
Nice.
What do you think?
I love it. Yeah. I think that's perfect. Now, I still do like the idea of having some sort of like left versus right distinction. We're using the navy 50, right? Maybe we could just do that with different shades of background colors. Do you think it would still be accessible if we made the overview navy 100 on the background and then the government side navy 50?
Let's give it a try.
Let's just try it out. Yeah.
I think it's worth a shot. This works.
I like it.
Yeah, this works well, and on mobile it'll look nice too.
Yeah, because it kind of breaks up those content sections visually a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I dig it. Good call.
Okay.
Awesome. What do you think? Is that a commit?
I think that's a commit right there. We definitely styled the bulk of the content on that page. That being said, folks, there's lots to do. We have those sub-region links. It would be cool to maybe have a tab-based banner. You can kind of click into the different sub-regions or get back to the main region page. We have the different lists, right? The stay informed links, the news updates links, right? So could be some cool stuff there. And those are fun because we're going to be using those in different parts of the sites. Like I could see stay informed links also being applied to our project pages eventually. Our news updates, if we have response pages, like for our Ukraine response, for example. So how do we style those in a way that works for our regions and subregions, but is flexible and adaptable for the future as well?
Yeah. So that's Git pushed now. And shall we just for the sake of argument, go ahead and open a work in progress? Yeah, pull request.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And people who are interested in contributing, you can add to this branch and we can, collaborate on this pull request together. So
Ramon and I do the stream once a week, so you got a 6-day head start on us before time. Feel free to check out this branch, play around with your own styles, put it up. And that would be really fun next time around, right? We can always go catch up on what someone else has been doing, or you could join us on stream and guide us through your changes.
OSS 351. Yeah, we can leave it. Let's add a little. Now what is this? Add a quote. I don't want to add a quote. I want to add a check. Whoops.
Like, check.
Sorry. I think I seem to remember it's like square brackets.
Yeah. I think the dash is on the other side. It's like a space dash space square bracket thing.
My bad.
No, well, I see what you're doing now.
Close.
Yeah, something like
What is it? Styled overview. Style. Government response. So I'll just like leave these two. I'll check them off when I create the pull request. Sound good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds great.
Let's do that. Then we get to test our code C action as well.
Right. There we go. Coming full circle here.
Where would we see it?
I think it should have just assigned probably you, not me, but it should have assigned you as a viewer if I set the action up correctly, which is big if. Yeah.
It's suggesting you, but maybe there's a bunch of...
Might still be running the hooks and stuff.
Yeah. This is really cool with Gitpod. Like that, it creates a workspace so that people can come and play around with the code as well.
Yep.
It's just amazing. Yeah. There's our code C map. We can see which file changed so far, which is cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, as Taylor said, folks, you know, this is open for whoever wants to come in and help. Let me drop a link to that issue if anybody wants to chime in. I've just put a link here. That's issue number 351. If you want to contribute, DM either Taylor or myself. Let me put up our fancy banner.
Yeah, please. Please.
This is open to everyone, and it's meant to be collaborative. So, folks, I think we can wrap up for the day. How about you, Taylor?
I'm feeling pretty good. Good about this. Very excited to keep working on this stuff. And there are going to be a whole lot of really cool contribution activities because this isn't just open source code. Like that's what we focus here on the stream. And, you know, this is the sort of stuff that allows us, it powers the delivery of literally tens of millions of dollars worth of humanitarian aid, right? You know, so whether it's showing off our work and getting donors in to let us do what we do, whether it's you know, helping grassroots groups find us and understand our projects and understand the regions that we're able to support, so that we connect and help with more people. You know, that's what the coding side of DA is all about. It translates into a very real world impact, which I think is super cool.
Absolutely, and you know, I mean, it needs to be said, Taylor, what a kind and cool navigator and educator you are, that you can help us like get on board onto this code quickly, because it's part of what makes it so fun.
Right back at you, buddy.
All right. Well, I think that's us for today. Jen Junot says thank you to you, Jen. Let's keep in touch and maybe see you on stream sometime. And all the best, everybody.
Yeah, keep it real, y'all. Take care.
Bye-bye.